Once upon a time, there was a special hen called the Little Red Hen. She lived on a farm, surrounded by her animal friends. In the farmyard, a big, round pig loved to play in the mud. There was also a duck that swam gracefully in the pond and a clever cat who liked to explore the fences. The farmyard was a lovely place, with a red barn standing tall. The fields around it were filled with colorful flowers and tall, swaying trees. The Little Red Hen had her cozy little house called a co-op, where she slept and stayed safe. Outside her coop, she had a small garden where she grew vegetables. Every day, the farmyard was full of sounds and activity. Animals would go about their routines, but the Little Red Hen was always busy. She would peck at the ground, looking for bugs and seeds to eat. Her hard work made her strong and independent. The farmyard was a friendly and happy place for all the animals. They lived together, helping and playing with each other. But the Little Red Hen had a unique dream. One sunny morning, while she was exploring near the farmyard's edge, she discovered something exciting: a few grains of wheat scattered on the ground. The Little Red Hen's eyes sparkled with joy as she found the wheat. She knew she could do something amazing with it. Little did she know that this discovery would lead her on an incredible adventure, teaching her and her friends an important lesson. The story of the Little Red Hen was about to begin, filled with friendship, hard work, and a special surprise. One sunny day, the Little Red Hen found some tiny seeds called wheat. She was filled with excitement and had a brilliant idea. "I will plant these seeds and grow something wonderful," she thought. Full of hope, the Little Red Hen approached her animal friends, the pig, the duck, and the cat, and asked, "Would you please help me prepare the soil for planting the wheat seeds?" But, to her disappointment, they all shook their heads and said, "No, we don't want to help." The pig oinked and said, "I'd rather roll in the mud and have fun." The duck quacked and said, "I'd rather swim in the pond and splash around." The cat meowed and said, "I'd rather explore and play by myself." The Little Red Hen felt a little sad, but she didn't give up. She knew that planting the wheat seeds was an important task, and she was determined to make it happen. Even though the others refused to help, she decided to do it all by herself. Undeterred by the lack of help, the Little Red Hen rolled up her feathery sleeves and decided to prepare the soil all by herself. She grabbed a small shovel and started digging and turning the soil with all her might. She knew that the soil needed to be soft and crumbly for the seeds to grow. After the soil was nicely prepared, the Little Red Hen went to her animal friends once again. She asked them, "Can you please help me plant these wheat seeds in the soil?" But, just like before, they all shook their heads and replied, "No, we don't want to help." The pig grunted and said, "I'm too busy rolling in the mud." The duck quacked and said, "I'm too busy swimming in the pond." The cat meowed and said, "I'm too busy playing and exploring." Although disappointed, the Little Red Hen didn't let it discourage her. She knew that she could do it on her own. With determination, she carefully placed each wheat seed into the soil, making sure they were at just the right depth. She gently covered the seeds with soil and patted them down, giving them a cozy bed to grow in. The Little Red Hen knew that her hard work and dedication would pay off in the end. She couldn't wait to see the seeds sprout into beautiful plants. Feeling determined and confident, the Little Red Hen took charge of planting the seeds all by herself. She carefully placed each seed into the soil, making sure they were just right. With a little water and lots of love, she knew the seeds would soon start growing. As the days went by, the tiny seedlings started peeking out of the soil, reaching toward the warm sunshine. The little red hen was thrilled to see her hard work paying off. But she also knew that the plants needed constant care to grow strong and healthy. With hope in her heart, she turned to her animal friends once again. "Can you please help me water and care for these plants?" she asked, hoping they would lend a helping hand. But, much to her disappointment, they all refused. The pig grumbled, "I'm too busy playing in the mud to help." The duck quacked, "I'm too busy swimming in the pond to help." The cat meowed, "I'm too busy exploring and having fun to help." Although a bit sad, the little red hen didn't let it discourage her. She knew that she had the strength and determination to care for the plants on her own. She fetched a watering can and lovingly watered each plant, making sure they had enough to drink. She also plucked out any pesky weeds that threatened to steal their nutrients. The little red hen understood the importance of hard work and perseverance. She knew that with her love and attention, the plants would grow tall and strong. She smiled at the thought of the beautiful wheat she would soon have, thanks to her efforts. With each passing day, the little red hen diligently cared for her growing wheat plants all by herself. She made sure they had plenty of sunlight, water, and nourishment from the soil. She watched them grow taller and stronger, filled with excitement for the harvest. When the wheat was finally ripe and golden, the little red hen knew it was time to harvest. She went to her animal friends once more and asked, "Can you please help me harvest the wheat?" But, sadly, they all refused to help once again. The pig snorted, "I'm too busy rolling in the mud to help." The duck quacked, "I'm too busy swimming in the pond to help." The cat meowed, "I'm too busy exploring and playing to help." Although disappointed by their response, the little red hen didn't let it discourage her. She knew that the harvest was an important task, and she was determined to complete it. She fetched a small sickle and started cutting the wheat stalks one by one, careful not to damage the precious grains. Once all the wheat was cut, the little red hen gathered the bundles in her wings and carried them to a safe place. She knew that she needed to separate the wheat grains from the stalks and chaff. With determination, she began to thresh and winnow, separating the valuable grains from the unwanted parts. Despite the hard work, the little red hen remained hopeful and grateful for what she had accomplished. She knew that she had given her best to grow and harvest the wheat. As she watched the golden grains fill her basket, she felt a sense of pride and satisfaction. The little red hen had learned an important lesson about the value of hard work and perseverance. She knew that she could rely on herself to accomplish great things. With a grateful heart, she smiled, ready to enjoy the fruits of her labor, even if she had to do it all on her own. With a sense of accomplishment, the little red hen harvested all the wheat on her own. She gathered the bundles in her wings and carried them to the nearby mill. There, the miller helped her turn the wheat into a fine, powdery flour. Excitedly, the little red hen took the flour back to her cozy co-op. She mixed it with water, added a pinch of salt, and kneaded the dough with her feathered wings. Then, she carefully shaped the dough into a beautiful loaf of bread. As the bread was baked in the warm oven, a mouth-watering aroma filled the air. The delicious smell drifted across the farmyard, catching the attention of the other animals. They followed their noses and gathered near the little red hen's co-op. Seeing her friends' curious faces, the little red hen smiled and said, "Would you like to help me eat this fresh loaf of bread?" But to her disappointment, they all regretfully declined. The pig shrugged and said, "I'm too full from rolling in the mud." The duck nodded and said, "I'm too full from swimming in the pond." The cat purred and said, "I'm too full from exploring and playing." The little red hen, although a bit saddened, understood their reasons. She knew that she had done all the hard work from planting to harvesting and baking. She realized the value of her efforts and the importance of being independent. Without hesitation, the little red hen savored every bite of the warm, freshly baked bread. She felt proud of herself and grateful for the delicious reward of her labor. As she enjoyed the bread all by herself, she learned a valuable lesson about the value of hard work, self-reliance, and the joy of accomplishment. And the little red hen lived happily on the farm, always ready to take on new challenges with determination and a sense of independence. Every day, the little red hen continued her routine of pecking and scratching the ground, finding insects and seeds to eat. She took care of her garden, planting new seeds and watching them grow. She knew that with her dedication and effort, she could achieve anything she set her mind to. Her animal friends watched in awe as the little red hen thrived and accomplished amazing things. They saw how she never gave up, even when faced with challenges. They admired her determination and learned from her example. The farmyard became a place of inspiration and encouragement. The pig, the duck, and the cat realized that they too could achieve great things if they put in the effort and worked hard. They began to lend a helping hand to each other and the little red hen, knowing the value of teamwork and perseverance. As the seasons changed, the little red hen's farm became a symbol of unity and collaboration. Together, the animals worked side by side, each contributing their unique skills to make the farm thrive. They celebrated each success and supported each other in times of difficulty. And the little red hen lived happily on the farm, surrounded by a community of friends who had learned the importance of hard work, determination, and relying on oneself. Their bond grew stronger each day, as they continued to grow, learn, and achieve together. And as the sun set over the farmyard, the little red hen knew that her journey had been worth it. She had not only discovered the power within herself, but also inspired others to find their strength. With a heart full of contentment, she closed her eyes, knowing that she had found true happiness in the joy of accomplishing her goals and helping others along the way.